Ang ating kwentuhan napapakinggan kahit saan. Samahan niyo ako sa bawat kwento na pwede natin pag-usapan. At sa bawat kwentuhan, lagi kang kasama. Ako si Gab Humilde Villegas at ito ang Kwentuhang Random, the podcast. Welcome sa isa naman pong episode at panibagong season ng ating kwentuhan kung saan kwentuhan natin sa episode na ito ang naging journey namin sa 5th ASEAN Build Summit sa Goa, India, where it was attended by more than 100 delegates from ASEAN member states and also from India. And sa sandaling ito ay pakasama natin sa mga members ng Philippine Delegation, no other than Martin Ortiz. Hello, Paps. Magandang araw sa iyo. Welcome sa ating
Magandang araw.
So,
yes, hello. How are you? Yes.
Good. So far, Paps, pagkwentuhan natin kung ano ba yung journey mo joining this summit.
Yes. So where does one begin, no? So for me, dalawa yung parang takeaway ko for the summit. Kinakategorize ko sa dalawa. Number one, it really gave us a sense of where we are as Filipinos in terms of the global scene, in terms of kanang pinag-uusapan, diba? Kasi doon, more or less, yung pinag-uusapan nila is medyo, in terms of policy making, medyo advanced na sila sa atin, parang ganun. But then again, the second part is that overall, I think we as part of ASEAN, we're tackling the subjects then in terms of regional development as one community, which kind of expands our horizon as well on what the other countries are doing, what we can learn from them, and what we can also share here sa Philippines. Parang those are just the general feedback na nasa isip ko on the top of my head right now.
Ano ba? Nung sumali ka rin for this summit, what was your impression?
Well, number one, sa pagkaintindi ko, sobrang laki kasi ng India, and we always have this perception of what India would look like, especially in like New Delhi or Mumbai. Siguro when we arrived there at Goa, yung impression ko was like, this is different from the movies that we watch, right? From the media that we consume. Kasi parang kahit coastal province siya, di ba? So parang iba siya. Somehow, it also resembles like the Philippines, right? Yung ibang areas, especially with the influence of the remnants of Portuguese colonialization back then. I remember during the last day when we toured around their Latin quarters, yung impression ko nga, parang Pilipinas, parang ganun. And then of course, yung impressions ko when it comes to food, yun nga, maanghang, right? Very, very typical yung reaction ko. Pero yung maanghang na masarap, di ba?
Then, about how I was because I think way back June or July, since I'm covering foreign affairs for actually, meron akong hesitations to accept the invitation. Meron akong mga invites before that was being declined by the office. Actually, I have an invitation before going ceremony, but hindi siya natuloy. Hindi ako pinayagan ng office because it was masyadong magastos. Yung naging computation namin sa office, for the allowance pa lang, yung kinakailangan nila mag-allow for to 74,000 pesos. Just only for the seminar and travel insurance as well. But there are good things happening. Bakit hindi ako natuloy kung pag-impart ng delegation. So, yung travel ko dapat sa Israel, it will be from June 20. That's one. But the war between Iran and Israel happened June 13. So, hindi ako natuloy because, ayun, parang nisip ko na rin na mayroong magandang dahilan si Lord bakit hindi niya ako pinasama doon. Kasi, kung siguro natuloy ako doon at nangyari yung gera, may stuck ako doon for several days. And at the same time, nasa akin yung istorya. Okay, I am one of the journeys there because that was been stuck because of the war. And of course, mag-e-expect sa akin yung office na magbato ng stories from time to time on what's happening there. So ayun, nung time na in-invite na ako to be part of this summit sa Goa by the Indian Embassy, sinabi ko na lang na yes. Umuo lang ako. But I told them na pwede akong hindi matuloy at any time because of the budget constraints. Baka hindi ako pagbigyan ng office. So,
Right.
ayun. Hinintay ko lang yung official letter from the embassy and also from the India Foundation. So, nung dumating yon, nagbakasakali lang ako, pinakita ko sa mga bosses ko. Then, I asked yung mga admin assistants namin to process it. Nagbakasakali lang ako kung mapuntungan siya. Okay, I can go. But, hindi. Pinagpipray ko rin na talaga this time, hopefully, patuloy ito na masama ako doon sa patuloy itong first out of the country ko. And also, ito rin yung first time na lumabas ako for so many years. First time ko nagkaroon ng platform. Yung trip natin sa Goa, that was one.
Yeah.
My impression about Goa about India. It was far from what we see in Bollywood movies. It's far from what kung ano yung nakikita natin about Bollywood. But nung time na namasyal tayo to visit the sides ng Goa was, alam mo yan, parang naglakbay lang tayo somewhere in southern part ng Goa. Kasi makikita mo, syempre yung pagkakaiba lang is yung paano mag-drive yung mga Indians doon. Since right-handed sila kung magmaneho. Tayo sa atin, mga left-handed tayo. Yung makakita ka ng sari-saris ko. So sabi ko, that is something I didn't expect na meron pa na dito. Kasi kapag nanonood ako ng mga videos from other countries, wala ka makikita ng sari-sari store. Wala ka rin makikita ng mga convenience store. But in India, there's something na para lang tayo nasa Pilipinas. And yung picture, kung ano yung na-imagine ko about Bhutan, kung ano yung nakikita ko sa movies na super tao, it was really
different.
Yeah, yung tipong nasa nasa topic pala pagtatago.
That one.
Yeah, yun yung nakikita ko na kung ano yung nakikita ko sa movies, ay kung ano yung nakikita ko sa movie books. But the airport was so very may imbit ka na lang talaga.
Yeah, sobrang laki, sobrang ganda ng architecture, yung interior sa loob.
Yeah, yung nakita ko yung scale model, kumukuha ko ng Wi-Fi function, pabalik na tayo ng Philippines. Nanlaki talaga yung mata ko sa kung paano yung design. And also, I could say much more bigger ang Mumbai airport supply. And also with
I can I mean go figure kasi parang sobrang 1 billion sila, di ba? So how do you cater like that kind of ganong karaming population if you're not gonna go big sa yung airport, di ba?
Yun nga Pero imagine mo yung nung lumapag tayo ng Goa, ang liit lang ng airport compared sa Mumbai.
Super liit.
It was like much more smaller than Terminal 3 or Terminal 4 sa Naiya. Ganun siya kaliit.
Parang comparable nga siya sa airport namin dito sa Iloilo. Parang more or less the same category in terms of scale. Pero hindi lang ako sure kung which one's bigger.
So, how was your on the first day na kumusta yung pakiramdam?
First day kasi gabi na tayo dumating, di ba?
Yeah.
So, are you talking about that? Ganang first day ba?
Yeah, first day. Dumating tayo as well as yung mismo summit proper na rin.
Well, for me, from Goa Airport to the hotel, it was a ride na parang gabi na kasi yun so I was really tired and then I was trying to keep my eyes open kasi I didn't want to miss anything, right? And then when we did arrive at the airport, like sobrang ganda ng airport for me. I felt very welcome. There's posters everywhere welcoming the delegates. And pagpasok natin sa hotel, super ganda yung interior. And then ito yung weird part na they gave us yung drink na yun, na parang red drink. Akala ko raspberry. And then when you drink it, maalat pala.
Maalat.
That one I couldn't get. Pero okay lang. After a while you drink it, you develop a taste for it. And then sabi ko, okay, masarap na rin pala. Pero it's not the kind of drink you were looking for after like a 20-hour flight. Parang gano'n. Di ba? Ganun. So, yun. That was a impression to me. And of course, the accommodations were great, right? And then the food laid out for us, for the delegates, was also great. The selections of food were also great. Eat all you can sa paneer, sa mga mutton nila, right? Masasarap, stuff like that. So,
Ano,
parang hindi,
ito yung gusto pagkain. Ito. Alam mo yun, kapag kakain ko, gusto ko, kahit tignan mo yung pagkain. Tapos siya na, ano yung kinain mo. Pero syempre, kung
ah,
makita mo siya ulit, babalik-balikan mo siya.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
may part ako na, may ano ako na, pagdating sa pagkain, madali kong makalimutan kung yung tawag ko.
Yes, of course. Kasi
Yeah,
hindi naman tayo familiar dun eh. And then
yes.
what do they call that? And then the price of Indian food in the Philippines, masyadong mahal.
Masyado mahal.
Yeah, a little bit. Pero doon, like eat all you can tayo doon. So that was nice.
Actually, ito kapag tayo na kwentuhan, kaya yung emphasis sa akin sa conversation, talking about this situation, yung dinadala nila ako sa mga Indian, Indian restaurant. The first
Mm.
was it's parang when I look at them, parang contagious ng food, from the I think yung pinakamakain rice, yung mga ibang rice, kung matandang lang sa bagang, ang mahal. Ang mahal ng
Ang mahal, yeah.
Ganun yung feeling na every time na, okay, every time that there's Indian food, hindi mo siya pwedeng palagpasin kasi minsan mo lang siya matitikman.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
of course, kung halimbawang if you will crave for it on a daily basis, okay, ubos na ang sweldo.
Okay,
Ubos yung
kaya nga.
sweldo.
After 5 days, yata, after 5 days of eating Indian food, alam
Mm-mm.
mo, nung nasa airport na tayo papuntang Malaysia,
Mm-mm.
di ba kumain na lang tayo ng KFC? Sabi na,
Oo.
kasi parang after a few days, sumahanap na rin ako ng ibang lasa. Pero funny thing, the burger na in-order ko sa KFC is also in, like, parang ano ba yun? Tandoori. Something
Mm-mm.
Indian burger pa rin. Pero yun
Mm-mm.
nga.
Yeah, it was actually nung time din na nandun ako, naghahanap na rin ako ng bagong pagkain na
Yeah.
even yung pasta nila. Actually, kumain ako ng pasta.
Sa
But
hotel?
it's different. It's different yung lasagna nila.
Oh,
Kung dito
really?
sa atin, di ba? More of meat, tsaka sauce na,
Oo.
But yung lasagna nila doon was like, it was like, meron siya mais, meron siya parang pickles or something.
Yeah. Tama,
Yeah,
tama.
more
I
of veggies
remember.
yung laman nung lasagna nila. But it was good.
Yeah. No, ako kasi hindi ako kumuha nun kasi on the top of my mind, ano
Lasagna
to,
naman yun
Western
eh.
food to. Oo. Tapos nandito na tayo, parang ganun. And
Ganun
then
yung
every morning, yeah. Ano nga yung in-order nila every morning sa hotel? Yung may cheese sa loob.
Mm-mm.
Kalimutan ko na eh.
Basta
Pero
parang
masarap yung
siya, parang more of parang bread siya, 'di ba,
parang
na
manipis
food,
na lumpia.
manipis.
Oo. And then they have cheese on it. And then yung dip na gusto ko yung na-remember ko yung mint na chutney, yung
Mm-mm.
tawag nila doon. I remember that one.
So ito, with regards do sa ito na yun, do sa country presentation natin. I know we're very clueless on what we will do.
Yes.
So paano kaya natin naisip yung presentation
Yung
natin
presentation
during that
natin.
time? Oo.
Hindi kasi yung isa natin kasama si Mark, meron na siyang prepared kasi, I mean,
Mm-mm.
we've been doing this
For
representing the
several days
Philippines.
na,
And,
oo.
yeah. And then in previous years rin, we've also had experience like this, di ba? So, meron na tayong pondo, kumbaga, when it comes to, so then in-edit lang natin, dinagdagan lang natin, and then
Mm-mm.
magagaling din naman yung mga kasama natin, and that's why. So,
Mm-mm.
pero yung lang, I think in terms of presentation, we're the most,
Kakaiba.
medyo, hindi naman pabibo, but more
Mm-mm.
fun siguro. Kasi
Mm-mm.
nga, more fun the Philippines nga, di ba?
Yes.
Like less on statistics and more about the vibes yung presentation natin.
Yes. Parang parang do sa presentation natin, it was like we show off how Filipino culture looks like.
A
Yun
little
yung
bit.
yun yung
Yeah,
glimpse na binigay natin sa kanila during that day. So,
tama.
do sa summit teams. How was your experience on sitting with the policy lab sessions?
For me, I like the policy lab sessions. I wish that the sessions were longer, right? Because
Din.
the discussions were really great. I think I plan to do a few policy labs here then in my hometown with
Mm-mm.
regards to the different issues that we have. Yun,
Mm-mm.
para sa akin maganda. I love hearing the insights of the other guys from other countries.
Mm-mm.
It also, parang it gives us a sense na hindi lang pala tayo na problema ng ganito
Mm-mm.
the same time. Yun. How about you? Anong sa'yo?
Actually, I remember yung first policy lab namin. It was about climate change, about climate crisis.
Yeah.
When we talk about it, so bawat delegate, pinag-share kami ng mga experiences namin about climate crisis. And marami yung mga nag-share about pollution, about noise pollution din as well, floodings. Yung naging sharing naman namin ni Casey. Yung kay Casey was much more impactful kasi he is also a Yolanda survivor. But on my part, I shared the experiences that we had last year, noong November, between last week ng October to few weeks ng I think second week ng November na nakaranas tayo ng 6 na bagyo sa loob lamang ng 25 araw. And it resulted into a lot of damages. And at the same time, I shared also the current situation that we have right now in terms of flood control. So hinighlight ko talaga yon na the president exposed do sa kanyang SONA na marami siyang nadiskubre na maraming palpak na flood control projects na hindi natapos or hindi nasimulan o di kaya substandard yung pagkakagawa doon sa mga infrastructures na yon. And I could say na yung issue with climate crisis, it's na hindi lang tayong mga nasa baba yung nakaka-experience nito. It's everyone na especially na developing countries, tayo yung may pinaka naapektuhan in terms of climate change dahil yun din, may mga developing countries din na grabe yung paggamit nitong mga non-renewable sources tulad ng coal, ng oil and other things. And at the same time, yung grabe yung pag-exploit natin ng mga resources natin na to the point na sa kaka-exploit natin hindi lang ecosystem yung naapektuhan kundi pati na rin yung livelihood ng mga taong livelihood ng mga nasa communities na affected nitong climate change rin. Yun yung pinakatumatak sa akin among all policy lab sessions na inattendan ko. Ayun. Next part naman ay siguro ito. Ano yung mga funny moments nung mga pinaggagawa natin during the summit? Ano yung naalala mo?
Yung funny talaga na moment for me is that lumabas tayo, pumunta tayo sa mga tourist spots, tapos I didn't bring any money. Kasi I was under the impression talaga na mabilis lang, like tap lang ng credit card or like merong mga ATM kahit saan. Remember that we went to that cathedral, gusto kong bumili ng marami, so wala akong pera. That was funny to me. Yun. Ikaw, ano sa'yo?
Ito sa akin, alam mo, di ba, ito alam nyo to, na pumasok yung allowance ko nung nandun na tayo sa Bangkok. So, dumating tayo sa airport and all, hindi ako nag-withdraw ng pera. Kasi, iniisip ko, paano ko mag-withdraw dito? Paano ko mag-money exchange? Paano ko magpapapalit ng pera? So, ang naisip ko nun, actually naisip ko na lang mag-withdraw kung kailan pauwi na tayo. Na, alam mo yon na nag-withdraw lang ako ng 3,000 rupees doon sa ATM doon sa hotel. Parang it was like about more than 2,000 din nata yung 2,000 pesos din yung amount nung kung i-convert natin sa peso. Actually, parang dumaan lang sa palad ko yung 3,000 rupees Of course, nagbayad pa ako ng utang sa'yo. Tapos, tsaka konti lang din yung pinamili ko ng mga pasalubong kasi ayoko rin na magbayad ng fees for excess baggage. At tsaka wala na ako mapapaglagyan kung sakali man na nabibili pa ako ng maraming pasalubong. And at the same time, may moment siguro na kailan din, nung pauwi na tayo. Muntik ko na maiwan yung salamin ko doon sa counter ng immigration officer sa Mumbai. Kasi,
and also your watch.
Oo, yan. Isa pa yung relo ko. Kasi nakalimutan kong ilagay doon sa, isama doon sa basket na pinaglagyan ko. Pinahubad sa akin nung officer ng security doon sa airport. Yun, doon talaga ako nagtagal na I want to get that watch. Kasi,
I know, hinintay ka namin.
yun nga sabi ko, nasaan na kaya to? Tsaka, of course, hiyang-hiya ako na hinihintay niyo ako kasi yung relo ko hindi maibigay nung officer. Tapos tinanong pa sa akin, anong brand to? Redmi po, Redmi. Okay, sige, binigay na sa akin. Ayun, nung pagdating natin na Mumbai, hindi ko na siya hinubad eh. Hindi ko na siya hinubad. Ang hinubad ko na lang nung time na nandun ako, nagse-security check na. Sige, lapag doon. Yun yung naano ko doon. And at the same time, siguro naalala ko nung pauwi na tayo. Muntik ko nang matapon yung pagkain na isusubo ko nung pabalik na tayo, nung papunta na tayo ng Kuala Lumpur because of the turbulence ng eroplano. Hindi ako makasubo na maayos. Buti stable yung pagkakahawak ko doon sa kutsara ko. Kasi kung hindi, kalat yun. Ito siguro, the other one. Ano ba yung mga siguro para sa'yo? Ano yung mga challenges na nakita mo during the summit? And also, ano ba yung mga nakikita mo ring opportunities for collaboration between the Philippines, ASEAN, and also India?
For me, yung challenges, ano ba yung mga challenges na na-experience natin there? Siguro yung transportation outside of the hotel sa
Mm-mm.
Goa province talaga. Kasi wala silang Grab, di ba? Wala din silang
Oo.
Uber. Meron silang local daw, pero it's not 24/7. Hindi
Mm-mm.
nung gaya sa atin. So
Parang may
that's one.
rent-a-car
So,
sila dun, di ba?
oo, pero parang masyadong mahal.
Mm-mm.
I think it's in the news then. Indian news. I've seen it on YouTube as well. So I think that's one challenge just na siguro that I could remember. Opportunities for collaboration, sobrang dami. Especially with the so many people there who also attended the event. I mean, this as well. So talking to them, getting their insights on what you could also use in the Philippines. That's always nice. Also feedbacking kung ano yung ginagawa natin kasi
Mm.
minsan nauna sila sa ganitong bagay at minsan nauna rin tayo. So kung ano yung experience na-experience nila na pwede natin ma-apply sa atin is also great. Siguro ang direct collaboration is like content creations. And
Mm-mm.
then isa yung sa policy lab namin that yung fintech ng India in terms of payments and transferring funds and etc. Parang wala na sila yung transaction fee, parang ganun. And
Mm-mm.
then they're trying to import that to other countries as well, right?
Yes.
Like in the UAE, Singapore, and France. And then I suppose it's something that we could also use here in Philippines to lower the cost of goods if we buy them off of India and all the other partner countries na using the same fintech. Parang ganun.
Mm-mm.
That's yung nakita ko.
Actually,
Ikaw?
kung nabanggit mo rin naman yun about do sa transaction fees, that is something na burden to us na since the pandemic, maraming gumamit sa atin ng mga cashless transaction wherein bank transfers, GCash, and all. Parang I do not know what's on their mind ng mga nagpapatakbo nitong mga companies natin na bakit nila kailangan pa na mag-charge ng certain amount for transactions na hindi naman malaki na yung tipong umaabot ng hundreds of thousands of pesos na pagdating sa transfer. And of course, ayun nga, nabanggit mo rin na nakikita ko rin na maganda yung isa sa possibilities for collaboration between the Philippines, ASEAN, and also India is yun nga, about sa content creation wherein we can collaborate to show the culture of different kung ano yung mga kultura, kung ano yung something na pwede nating maipagmalaki between the Philippines, India, and also the ASEAN member states. That is something na, okay, we can do a lot of things when it comes to content creating. And ayun, in terms of cultural exchange, actually marami tayong pwedeng magkaroon ng exchanges in terms of kung pagdating sa mga palabas sa TV. So, maraming palabas na pwede tayong i-export sa kanila and at the same time, siguro maganda rin na dahil nagkakaroon na ng anong tawag dito, na nagkakaroon na ng rise in terms of demand pagdating sa streaming, I could say na magkaroon din ng market or makapag-establish ng market na wherein yung mga palabas from ASEAN member states, yun yung nando sa library na pwedeng mapanood ng mga tao na masyado ng mataas yung demand. I think also for K-drama, maybe it's time for us na magkaroon ng market for entertainment for series mga content from ASEAN na of course di naman nalalayo yung kultura nila sa kultura din natin. Ayun, something like that. Yun yung nakikita ko na pwedeng magkaroon ng collaboration, especially sa generation na meron tayo. Ayun. And eto na, ano yung pwede mong ma-share sa mga kabataang Pilipino na gustong maging involved sa mga ganitong klaseng event, patulad nitong summit na pinuntahan natin, ano yung mga tips or advice na pwede mong maibigay sa kanila?
I think kung interesado talaga sila, I think they should start on looking out for siguro studying about what is ASEAN, especially that the Philippines will be the next host for ASEAN Chairmanship
Yes.
2026, di ba?
Yes.
And then with it comes opportunities to travel to ASEAN countries as well. Like me, for the past 30 days, I've been to like 4 ASEAN countries already, di ba? And it's all because of ASEAN Foundation as well. So they could start with following ASEAN Foundations and the different programs that they are offering over there. And aside from that, there's a lot of other organizations then that offers collaboration across Southeast Asia, di ba? Like YCD, parang ganun, stuff like that. And then also, kasi medyo marami din ng a-apply. So they should also build their portfolio before applying as well. Kasi you always need to bring something to the table then for these exchanges, right? Because you're not just there to learn, you're also there to share ng ginagawa mo dito sa Philippines. Ayun. In the Philippines kasi, yung youth is around hanggang 30 lang. In ASEAN, it's until 35. So there's plenty of opportunities kahit nasa edad ka na. So to speak. So yeah, I think that's my 2 cents on the subject.
Siguro ito na lang din. Paano ka nag-start to join on this kind of summits, of these exchanges? Paano ka nagkaroon ng interest on it?
Okay. Yun nga, young leader din ako dito sa amin, dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. And it's just that other contemporaries of mine, friends, have also been doing stuff like this. So, pinag-uusapan, and then, nire-recommend na sumali ka dito, ganyan. So, yun, word of mouth lang talaga. It's who your friends are as well. It's important. Who you keep your circle in.
Ayun, siguro panghuli na lamang din. Ano yung final message mo kung gaano kahalaga yung pagsali natin sa mga ganitong klaseng activities, na magkaroon ng youth engagement at magkaroon din ng international collaboration?
Para sa akin, it's very important kasi it's one thing to Google something about another country and then it's another to actually talk to the people from that country, right? I think yung mga misconceptions, yung mga problems, yung mga misunderstandings could be bridged through these programs and the dialogues that we would enter into with the different views of different countries. And as well in the future, we'll become the leaders of our own country as well. We'll become the decision makers of our own country as well. So it helps that we also already know each other, right, from the past, to bridge further collaboration and friendship within our countries. So I think this is very important, these stuff like this. Hindi lang to, should not be treated as a vacation or per cloud, but it should be about networking, building friendships, and then exploring the possibilities of saan tayo, anong areas that we could work on to develop both of our countries.
And with that, thank you so much, Martin, for your time, for being with us on this sa unang episode ng bagong season na ating kwentuhan. And I'm looking forward na mas marami pa tayong pwedeng pagsamahan, and also I look forward to visit Iloilo someday in the future. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Gab. Have a great day.
At dito na po nagtatapos ang episode ng ating kwentuhan. Pwede mong balikan ang previous episodes ng Kwentuhang Random na podcast sa Amazon Music, Apple Music, Podbean, Podchaser, Player FM, Pocket Casts, Spotify at YouTube Music. Huwag mo rin kalimutang i-follow para updated ka sa susunod nating episodes. Hanggang sa susunod nating kwentuhan,